All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on Metropolis, and at the 3 o'clock position, we have our red Zerg player from Team SCV Life. It is HyuN. His opponent at the 6 o'clock position, is our yellow Protoss player, needing to win 3 games in a row to take down his opponent. It's Brown.
And we'll see exactly what Brown decides to do in this one. He had a pretty good timing push last game, but just got delayed a little bit. He actually delayed HyuN pretty well with that double pylon block, but just couldn't take advantage of it. It was seconds before he would have been able to take down that third. And if he had taken down all those Zerglings before the Infestors had popped out, it would have been a very different story and looked a lot more like the Entombed Valley game.
All right, so let's see here. I wouldn't expect too much different from these guys. I mean, they've shown that they don't really want to cheese to get ahead.
Yeah.
Brown and HyuN have played very standard, as is their style. And I don't know. I mean, I think that it would behoove Brown to try a Stargate once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I was really thinking. I would like to see him do Stargate, or I'd like to see him do something a little bit different, because he's pretty much open the exact same way, more or less, every single game. And HyuN knows exactly what to expect. Pylon block or no pylon block, it's been pretty much exactly the same. Like maybe a DT expand, maybe a Stargate, you know, something out of the ordinary here.
Yeah. And for now, though, Brown just saving up his resources, and it looks like another 16 Nexus.
Ho-hum.
Ho-hum. All right. We'll see if he decides to pylon block this time or not.
It looks like he's going for it.
He could. He's being very annoying with this pro. This has actually been pretty good micro so far. What APM are these guys playing at? It's pretty high APM for a Protoss player, 300
yeah, 300.
average.
I was like, what are you doing? You just spamming your Nexuses?
Yes.
But yeah, 400 APM there for a while, microing the pro back and forth. Pretty good. Forge going to be followed up by Gateway, going to be followed up by either single or double gas. We'll see exactly what he decides to go with.
Yeah, I mean, it's about that time. HyuN, on the other hand, he's shown us a couple of different looks. It's a question of whether he wants to go to a very aggressive 3 base and just try and defend. I mean, it's really what he scouts, of course. If he thinks that there's going to be some sort of aggression at the beginning, then we'll decide to kind of cut back and on the amount of expansions he takes and just pure defend and try and counterattack. But sometimes he has decided, I want to go for a little bit more tech. I want to get up to that 8 to 10 gas range.
Yeah, I really liked that game where he went up to 6 hatches, 5 bases in total when he had the 10 gas. I think it was Cloud Kingdom.
Yep.
Very, very strong build. Don't see things like that very often. And he let him get to that Broodlord Infestor Corruptor army composition very well, and he actually hasn't needed Broodlords in the other games so far. I think that was the last time we saw them out of him.
Yeah, I mean, they got close at a couple of them where Greater Spires were there, but yeah, mostly Corruptors have been doing the work with HyuN just kind of bull rushing his way through and plowing his forces into his opponent.
We haven't actually... I would really like to see Brown do something a little bit different. He looks like the same build he's done every game so far. No fast +1 though this time, so a little bit different. It's possible this could mean it's Stargate. He does have the gas for it, but we haven't seen it out of him so far, so it's really impossible to tell. He did go for the double gas again this game.
Yeah. And we'll see
quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll see what this turns into. If this is going to be a quick sentry. Let's see, there's warp gates. That is a...
Oh, it is Stargate. So he is doing something different. Yeah, he is mixing it up. And that's pretty well hidden. There's not an Overlord inside of that. I don't think that's going to be scouted. HyuN hasn't scouted the main until Lair Tech in all of these games.
Now, he's got a couple of ways to read this. He did get there. Did he actually get over the top? Because I think he got in far enough to see that the forge wasn't working. And he was picking up on gas, but you know what? Brown did a good job of not really overcommitting any sort of gas units. You see no second Stalker that's following this up because he needs everything for this Stargate.
Yeah, HyuN is actually might see this. There's an Overlord that's creeping, and even if it doesn't get there before a Void Ray or Phoenix pops out, very soon afterwards on the way to HyuN's base, he will see it regardless. See, is Brown going to get to the Overlord before it sees the Stargate?
And looks like he will actually start to drive it away.
Very good timing.
Okay, so HyuN's going to have a little bit rougher time trying to pick up on this, and already we see Void Rays being produced. A lot of Protoss players have been just doing nothing but producing Phoenixes lately.
I still think Void Ray is a good way to go if they're not expecting it, especially he only has, does he have 3 queens or is it only 2 right now?
I should have 3, yeah.
Yeah, it is 3. Okay, so one of them is pretty far away and the creep isn't connected, so I don't know how much damage he will do with this, but he is going to be safe to go to a 3rd most likely, and he is going to pick up a few overlords if he chooses to.
And the important part is that this hasn't been tried yet, so there was the potential for him to sneak in. But,
yeah, there is immediately another queen coming up.
Yeah, there was pretty good coverage with overlords, though. I mean, he would have had to he had to absolutely thread the needle in between this Xel'Naga tower vision and the overlord that was posted up right about here.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to either pick off drones or overlords. He's not going to get queens with this. So I would try to pick off, well, you know, what you could, drones, overlords, things like that. Maybe even creep tumors if he's going in that direction.
Here's what I am surprised about, though. 2nd Void Ray was produced, and then a Warp Prism with a 6-gate follow-up.
Yeah,
so
it's a 6-gate Void Ray Warp Prism. It's actually a pretty strong push. If you get there before Infestors, they have to make a lot of queens to try to fight the Void Ray, and if you have a ton of gateway units, the queens aren't really going to do that well. So this could be good, and obviously Void Rays tear roaches to pieces.
Okay, so let's see. 3 sentries, that's pretty much all that's been produced yet, and it is purely going to be this Warp Prism. There is actually the potential for this Warp Prism to get in there, as long as it doesn't stray too far out, which it looks like it'll be fine.
He's cleared out the Overlord as well. That Overseer isn't going to see it coming. This actually could do some good damage.
All right, well, Brown, 3 sentries, the Void Ray's in position, and so far, HyuN hasn't picked up on this.
Yeah, and let's see, he's warping in more sentries and zealots. Ooh, he's got to be careful with the sentries, though. He doesn't actually get there to force field the ramp. Oh, no, this might have turned out to be a pretty bad mistake. Yep.
Okay, well, there are a couple of zealots down. Will that buy him enough time to start moving in? It looks like the Void Rays are going to be charged up here in a second, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't get the continued force fueling down on the ramp.
Yeah, so there's enough forces here to fight this off, and I think Brown's just going to have to leave at this point. He's not going to get as much done as he needed to, and he's going to have to go to a plan B, which is probably going to be... oh, nope, not expanding. He's going for Void Ray Colossi. Okay,
well, 2 bases, certainly pretty aggressive, but he does have enough resources if he desires to put down a 3rd base in the moment, and he is actually going over for just taking out the destructible debris.
He has a lot of resources saved up. He was up to 800, 500, excuse me. So we'll see exactly how he wants to play this. That is a very early Robo. You usually don't see Robo that soon. I mean, thus far in the series, he hasn't gotten it this early.
One thing, though, is that HyuN's not taking the bait. There's so many times when you're like, hey, look at this Stargate play I've got going on. Gee, wouldn't you like to make Hydralisks right now? And then you end up switching into Robotics Bay after only a couple of Phoenixes and try and bait it out of your opponent. But HyuN's not doing that at all.
Yeah.
Especially because HyuN only saw 2 Void Rays. He didn't see any Phoenixes.
That can usually cost you the game if you try to switch to Hydras and they switch to Robo, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess I lose then. I mean, it's a bait and switch that Protoss do, and Zergs don't really fall for it that often any.
Oh, no.
But, ooh, this is a deadly push.
Oh, I bet you he wishes that he had his Void Rays there. Those Void Rays would be able to charge up and help with that at the very least. Ah, he burrows. That should force an Observer out.
Yeah, he does have one out already. He has it over his army.
Okay. Oh, is it?
Yeah, right.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. I just missed it. And it's even revealed for me. I can't even see it.
Yeah. All right. How the Terran players do it.
All right. Well, the Void Rays are actually charged up, and they're starting to pick away at these units one by one. It's certainly nice to have them in the forces at the end of this.
Yeah, so he's gotten a few roaches out of this. He's going to get another one there.
And now that there's a Colossus up, he should be able to hold off this force, and but he does need to take this 3rd base
just ignoring these Void Rays on his armies. It's so funny. It's like, hope that you're not the unlucky one.
Don't die. Okay, so let's see. With Spire and Hive on the way, and Pathogen Gland's almost finished up, HyuN can make a lot of top-tier units.
He's up to 5 base almost, too. So he's going for that 10 gas build that we've talked about before.
Okay, well, he already does have 8 flowing, and you can see his gas income is appropriately reflecting that.
So Infestor's coming, Broodlord's going to be coming soon. Brown does have Stargate if he wants to react to the Broodlords that way. Not usually something that you'll expect until Mothership, and you kind of have to have 3 bases established for that kind of a gas-heavy investment. But he could go for that if he wants to. And he actually will probably get a cancel on this 5th base, too, because the creep isn't all the way up there for the Queens.
Interesting, though, that he didn't shoot that with both the Void Rays. He wanted to see what was coming up. It looks like he wouldn't have had enough time to actually shoot that down yet, though. So he made the right decision, picks up on the queens, and moves away.
That's a lot of queens, too. Those are obviously going to be used to transfuse the Broodlords later on. Come on.
What is this? There we go. All right, hold position. Zealot was just hanging
out.
out.
The wall. Like, what's this guy doing?
He's just staring at him. Zerglings these days. All right, well, the Zerglings, speaking of Zerglings, they're making their way out across the map.
There's
Third base is finished up. Greater Spire's on the way. Infestors are coming up, and Brown is trying to wall this off a little bit to present a little bit less surface area so we make sure he can defend it for a bit longer.
So actually, it looks like HyuN has made a... Can we see the Infestor count? I've seen so many Infestors in production. Yeah, 13. Pretty good. Not an absurd amount. He's not at freaky status yet, but...
yeah, I believe someone in the live report thread said that HyuN was going full freaky before.
Yeah, so not quite full freaky, but now he's going for that heavy, you know, the Zerg death ball, as people say, with that Infesterling, Roach, Broodlord, Corruptor army. Yeah, and the queens behind are actually a really nice touch. There's 9 queens up, so he's still got 4 on the map when these actually make their way out, producing another 17 drones as well, and need to start turning a lot of those into spine crawlers. But these 5 queens can do a really nice job in transfusing things up. We've seen HyuN has very, very good control. Did he misclick? Because they're not laying creep, they're just walking across the map. No. He wants them. He's timing this so that the rest of the army will catch up and he can use it for transfusions. Okay, I figured he'd just use creep, but I guess he wants to save all the energy. That's interesting.
Yeah, because the Greater Spire's done, the Corruptors are out, and he can start to morph in 5 Broodlords with this army. Okay, so he is moving the queens back now. How is... Brown actually is almost maxed. He's... HyuN hasn't put on any pressure, so he's let Brown get back into this game, getting a 4th base. He has... not that high a stalker count, but that's a pretty good amount of stalkers. 3 Colossus plus 3 weapons coming up. I really want to see a fleet beacon though, because he's going to need Vortex in a minute. Well, he sees kind of the full extent of this army, and it looks like he's killing his own queens to free up supply for additional brood. Oh, man, I really would have liked the queens there for additional transfusions, I have to say. I would too, but they're... Oh, God. He warped all of them. I don't know if that's a mistake because he saw Stargate, but I guess he figures that the Void Rays won't be able to kill him fast enough anyway, so you might as well just go for this. All right, so the dreaded Void Colossus was sitting there for a second, but a few Zerglings make their way off to the left. That will actually cause a lot of the units to be pulled out of position. Doesn't look like HyuN's going to move across the map, though. He's a little more worried to make sure he establishes the spine crawler walls back at home and make sure that he's very safe. Yeah, he is safe with spine crawlers at most of his external bases. Wow, look at all that larva that's saved up for remaxing. Oh, yeah. That's going to be really, really quick. This one Void Ray is not really going to do a whole lot. Still no fleet beacon. He's getting a second Void for upgrade, but it's just too late right now. Look at all those infested Terrans and Roaches. All right, well, this is quite a big showdown here. The Void Ray finally does get taken out. It damages a few of, or a little bit of the Broodlords and hits a couple of the Infestors for just a bit as well. The 3 Colossi, or 4 Colossi, haven't really been touched at the back, so they've done a nice job of picking off these Infested Terrans as they popped out. But the Blink Stalkers need to get some position underneath these Broodlords, and they haven't been able to find it quite yet. Yeah, he is fighting off the Infested Terrans well, so the Infestors are going through a lot of energy, and the Colossus are actually holding the Infested Terrans relatively well. However, the Stalkers are taking more and more damage to the Infested Terran to make their way up. He's got to be careful though, because a blink into these Broodlords could get all of them, but so many Infested Terrans and Broodlings forces Brown back. And those Infestors are, well, completely out of energy, so that's a lot of active armor that's not going to be able to be used. Oh, he's going to lose the Cybernetic score. Yes, he is. Yeah, bye-bye, no more Stalkers. No more Stalkers. He's going to have to rebuild that very, very quickly. 13 more Corruptors on the way. More Infested Terrans coming. Look at all the Broodlings. Oh, and he is going to decide to blink now. Yeah, he let the big round of Infested Terrans expire. There's a few more up, but will he have enough to actually get underneath these? Yeah, down to the last 5 Broodlords. 4 Broodlords. And looks like this is going to work out okay for him. So Brown holds, but the problem is, look at what's being produced back at home. The Corruptor army has already been reestablished. The Infestors, even though they're out of energy, are regenerating it. And there's 66 Lings. Yeah, 66 Lings, because now he's out of force fields. He does have, wow, all of the gateways. Hopefully he has a Templar Archives here so we can take advantage of all that gas he has banked up. Archons would be really great against what HyuN is doing right now, but he just doesn't have them. Oh, no, and HyuN is actually going to move in just when Brown is kind of at his most susceptible. There's a couple of Photon Cannons and a fair number of Zealots here, but the Lings are upgraded enough that they will chew through most of those Zealots very quickly. Good cannon positioning there, but he's losing a lot of probes regardless. He's going to force him out of position.
Ling's going into every base. I really like that move by HyuN, just buying time with the Zergling so that he can get his next round of Broodlords up and doing economic damage in the process. Still have tons of supply and lots of Broodlords coming in. Brown really needs a Templar Archives.
Yeah, and unfortunately just one not able or not anywhere to be seen. So that's unfortunate for him. There we go. Yeah, so Templar Archives takes half the time of a Dark Shrine to actually produce, so it should be here not too long from now.
Yeah, so if he gets High Templar and Storm before these Broodlords move out, he might be okay, but no. Yeah, HyuN's just going right now.
Yes, he is.
So this is going to be the Doom push. He actually has Neural Parasite coming up as well. And if he Neurals the Colossus while all the Broodlings are engaging, there's no way he's going to be able to get through all of them. You saw last time, the only reason that Brown was even alive is because he had so many Colossi firing at all the Broodlings and infested Terrans. Now, if he takes the Colossi, there'll be no way for him to get through all that army.
That is an awfully large army.
Look at all the Corruptors, too.
Okay.
That's scary.
Okay, so here we are as HyuN makes his way up. He's dropping out the infested Terran so he can absorb some shots. These two robotic facilities are going to die immediately, and Brown needs to engage this just perfectly if he wants to have a chance here. So he's wrapped his forces around the side, but the Blink Stalker count is so low. He's got one Archon up, and that is it.
Yeah, he does not have enough Blink Stalkers to do anything about this. He can't even kill the Corruptors fast enough. And now all the Broodlings, who's getting a little careless with the Infestors, but I don't even think it's going to matter.
Nope, that's GG, yo, and the game is over. The set is over. HyuN has won another Fight Club. He